Today we are going to discuss about the editing. What is editing? Types of editing. What is the basic techniques of editing and some shots and angles, etc. Here we are going with the meaning of editing. That is basically editing is a process that involves revising the content, organizing grammar and presentation of a piece of a writing. It is a part of the overall editing process and is best done as the final stage of the editing. Basically, editing is the process of selecting and preparing written, photography, visual, audible, semantic material used by a person or an entity to convey a message or information. Basically, it's an interesting part of the photos and in the videos for properly understanding the documentaries, the content and the messages that we are given with the help of some photographs, some films and with the help of some medium also. Basically, the editing process can involve the correction, condensation, organization and many other modifications performed with an intention to producing a correct, consistent, accurate and complete piece of work. We can have the post-production tasks include the tightening, color correction, sound mixing, and so on. Basically, how we understood by any of the following. That is, the editing process often begins with the author's idea for the work itself. We can create the transitions between clips, we can create a filter, we can create a cut tool, we can create a jump, we can create some animations and color corrections, so on. Because with the help of the continuing as the collaboration between the author and the editor as the work is created. Editing can involve creative skills, that is human relations, and a precise set of the methods. We have a various editorial positions in the publishing. Like typically, one finds editorial assistant reporting to the senior level editorial staff and directors who reports to the senior executive editor. We have some copy editors and so on. Nowadays, basically editing is a growing field of the work in service industry. Paid editing services may be provided by the specialized editing firms or by the self-employed editors. Editing firms may employ a term of in-house editors, rely on a network of individual contractor or the both. When we are talking about the types, basically we have two types of editing. First is the linear and second one is the non-linear editing. First of all, linear editing. Basically, linear editing is that kind of editing which we can edit the things in the linear manner or a sequence manner. In this, basically a linear video editing is a video editing post-production process, as you know, of the selecting, arranging and modifying the images and the sound in a predetermined ordered sequence like this. So basically, regardless of the whether it was captured by a video camera, tapeless camcorder or recorder in a television studio on a videotape recorder, which we can say if this VTR is a videotape recorder, the content must be assessed sequentially. Basically, linear editing is a process of the selecting, arranging, modifying images, sound in a predetermined order and the sequence as I know you first. For the most part, video editing software has replaced linear editing. In this process, we can't select the mid part of the photo or videos, etc. If we want to, I'm giving you an example. If I want to edit the fourth picture, we have to run about the sequence, then first, second, third, and then fourth. We can't add it in the mid part. So that's why this editing is called the linear editing, because it can run properly in the sequence. In the past, film editing was done in the linear fashion, where film reels were literally cut into long strips divided by the takes and strings, and then blurred and taped back together to create a local sequence of the film. Linear editing basically is the process of this transferring segments of the video or audio for raw footage tapes onto a record tapes. These segments can be taken from any location on your original tapes and edited onto the record tape in a sequence. In this, if I'm talking about the news department, often they still use linear editing process because they can start the editing tape and feed from the field as soon as received. These segments can be taken from any program is called the edit master or a master. Linear editing is the most commonly used when working with videotape. Unlike film, videotape cannot be physically cut into pieces to be spliced together to create a new order. Instead, the editor must dub or record each desired video clip onto a master tape. If I am telling about the 1980s, a video editing was severely limited because changes had to be done in a sequence, in a linear fashion, making edits difficult. Then a person whose name is a Bill Warner invented the Avid Media Composer, a digital non-linear editor which took over the industry for the both video and film with its graphical interference. So this is all about the linear editing. Next was is the non-linear editing, which we can call them a digital editing also. You can see this. Basically, non-linear editing is a form of the online editing for audio, video, and image editing. In offline editing, the original content is not modified in the course of editing. In non-linear editing, edits are specified and modified by the specialized software. These perform non-destructive editing on source material. If I am telling about that why we are using this process, that one of the huge advantage of the computer based non-linear editing is that it's a non-destructive. This means that the original media files are never changed, never replaced or deleted also. So you can always have your original fully quality media on your hands. In a non-linear editing, the original source files are not lost or are modified during editing. This is one of the biggest advantage of the non-linear editing as compared to the linear editing. With the EDLs, the editor can work on the low resolution copies of the video. Next one is the significance of the editing. Significance of editing is that it makes sure that your story clear and helps to identify minutes error easily. Despite of how tiresome and the boring of the process of editing can be, in the end it always brings out a great deal of enjoyment. Nowadays, editing is the most important tool for creativeness, attractiveness, and eye-catching things. Here we are going to discuss that it helps us to create a rough assembly, it helps us to create a splitting combining, it helps to the quality of shots, it helps to import and improve the video elements, and so on. Basically, editing helps to communicate ideas and points in a concise and the clearer manner. Basically, a good editing process or having a good editor ensures your written message matches what you are trying to say, helps to condense and improve the efficiency of your writing, questions you follow of thoughts, and ensuring that's a good logic. Basically, editing is a process that involves the revising the content, organizing, and giving a good message for attractiveness. In the process of reviewing a piece of writing to correct any error, these errors basically could be as simple as spelling as a grammar mistake, or they could be as a complex as the flow and clarity of your writing. Because many writers find that an editing checklist is useful when correcting their own work. Basically, in the editing process, we have to select, we have to prepare for writing visual, audible, film media for convey information, because it involves the correction, condensation, organization, modification, attractiveness, eye-catching performed with an intention of producing a correct work. In this, we have to some principles of the editing, that is, shoot for the editing, select just what the story needs, select the important action, show something new with each edit, vary the shot, size and angle, step between short sizes, use cutaway to hide jumpy edits, When we are create a jump or insert the jump tool, then we have to represent like there is nothing. We have to add it that key when I am seeing the picture or a video, I can't never see that here. So use a master shot for an overview. I'm giving you example that is added is defined as to prepare something for the publication or a final copy by removing errors and extra words. Because added is to check a paper for the grammatical and structural mistake before submitting it to a professor, and so on. Now we are going to discuss about the grammar of editing. That is, if you want to get to grips with editing, this are set down in a simple, uncomplicated way. The fundamental knowledge you will need to make a good edit between the two shots. Grammar of the editing begins with an explanation of the business rule of visual construction that will allow you to arrange your footage locally. The book takes you from the basic vocabulary of the editing to knowing when to cut, how to cut, why to cut, to transitions, and finally to good working practices. Basically, the rules are described in the same manner as conventional synthesis grammar. We have some basic elements to edit the grammar in applied and a group of shorts. In this, we can define as a logical continuous sessions where the short size or the camera work is uniquely defined within the cut. So here is all. And then the short size is classified into the long shots, medium shots, close-up shots, and so on. So here we are going to discuss about some shots, going to some camera techniques and some shot sizes. That is, a basic camera shots are those that refer to the indication of the subject size within the frame. There are three different types, that is extreme long shot, medium shot, medium close up, then close up, then before close up and extreme close up. That is, if I'm talking about the long shot, that long shot is a basically when we have a proper headroom and foot row. That is, a long shot, also known as the wide shot, is oftentimes used as an establishing shot in a film as it's normally set the scene and the character's place within it. This type of the camera shot shows the full length of the subject while also including a large amount of the surrounding area of the film setting. Basically, long shot represent shows the object from a distance, emphasizing place and location, while close shots reveal detail of the subject and highlights the emotion of a character. Basically, long shot when a single object can stand properly with the help of proper headroom and a foot row. Proper distance with the left and right also. Next one is the extreme long shot. Extreme long shot is a long shot that covers a wider area. It is also known as the extreme wide shot, that is EWX. The shot frames the subject from a distance. The focus is on the surroundings. Remember, in a long shot, the character is usually still noticeable in the frame. Basically, in a film, view of a scene that is shot from a considerable distance so that people appear as indistinct shapes. Basically, extreme long shot is a view from an even greater distance in which a people appear as the small dots in the landscape. Next one is the medium long shot. Basically, medium shot somewhere become a close up and wide shot, showing the subject from the waist up while revealing some of the surrounding environment. Medium long shot basically somewhere between a medium shot and a full shot, showing the subject from the knees up. Basically, it is also called as a three-quarter shots. Third half frames the whole subject from the knees up. An intermediate shot between the long and the medium shows the relation of the surrounding, and when you have the two or three persons in the frame also. Basically, we are using these kind of shots where There are commonly used for the group shots. Two shots, emblematic shots, because they provide enough room in the frame to include several characters or a visual elements simultaneously. While a long shot emphasizes the body language of a character and surrounding area, the size of the medium. Next was is the establishing shot. Establishing shot basically is a shot in filmmaking or television that sets up the context for the screen ahead, designed to inform the audience where the action will be taken place. It shows the relationship between the people and the object and establishes the screen's geography. Basically, we are telling about the technically speaking that establishing shot is usually a wide shot, long shot, extreme shot, aerial shot that shows a lot of the setting for the context. We are unlike other shots in a movie for a few different reasons, but establishing shots are usually only a few seconds long. Next one is the mid shot. A mid shot basically are areas in the frame or a type of the camera shoot in a film and television also that shows the actor approximately from the waist up. A medium shot or a mid shot is used to emphasize both the actor and their surroundings by giving them an equal presence on the screen. Basically, it's above the waist, closer to the belly button. This offers a better composition as it's a wide framing around an actor's joint. Cutting off directly at the waist or elbows creates a jarring image. Next one is the close-up shot. Basically, close-up shot is a type of the camera shot, as you know. In this, we add emotions to a screen. It tightly frames an actor's face, making their reaction the main focus in the frame. The director of photography films a close-up with the long lens at the close range. Basically, it subjects are very closely, often so much so that the outer portions of the subject are cut off by the edge of the frame, like the face-up, but it can go closer to show only an actor's mouth or even a single eye. Next one is the medium close-up shot. Basically, medium close-up shot is a frame as subject's head and cutoffs around the mid-chest. The focus is on the subject basically from head to shoulders. Shows the facial expressions of the subject commonly used for interviews in documentaries and news programs. The idea of a medium close-up shot is that you can still easily register the actor's emotions and facial expressions while also retaining some of the background. A medium close-up is often used when a scene needs to be a convert the standard coverage that doesn't show the view. Next one is the big close-up shot. In the photography, a standard shot size which shows the detail of the foreground subject filling the entity of the screen. We have a particularly attention of the person's feelings and the reactions here because a big close-up of a person would show their face from foreground to chin. This minimus the extreme proximity of the intimate zone is a face-to-face reaction or interaction. When we are talking about the close-up shot, signal to the audience that something is important and this can be a prop or reaction. But often it is a best when the subject or the object has a significant influence on the story and the viewer understanding of the story. We have some angles, low level angle, eye level angle, high level angle, warm side level angle, contented angle, which we are also called canted level is a Dutch angle level. It's a Dutch angle. Now, next one is the bird's eye view. So here we are going about the viewpoint of the angle. First, which we have a viewpoint is the apparent distance and the angle from which the camera views and record the subject. They also include the eye level angle, the over the shoulder shot and point of view shot. Basically, a viewpoint refers to the positive we take the photograph from. This will also be the position you place the viewer in when they are looking at your finished shot. Basically, the viewpoint can dramatically change the feel of the photograph. Next one is the point of view angle. Basically, a point of view angle, a simply camera angle records the scene from a particular player's viewpoint, that what or he will be doing or done. The point of view is an objective angle, but since it falls between the objective and subjective angle, it should be placed in a separate category and given a special consideration. In this, that who is to be the watching the action show in the point of view shot. Basically, this kind of shot have been around since the early days of filmmaking. This kind of subjective camera is still commonly used to captivate the audience. Typically, point of view shots are placed in between a shot of a character looking at something and a shot showing the character's reaction. Its effect is a very good that motion dynamic and the point of view shot didn't significantly affect viewers' narrative engagement and the state empathy and arousal. Next one is the two shot angle. Basically, two shot angle is that here we can capture the picture together. A two shot is a shot in which the frames a view of the subject don't have to be next to each other. There are many which we have on subject in the foreground, around the other subject in the background. The shot is used to show the emotional reaction between the subject or between the couple, etc. In this, we have to create what kind of togetherness they both have. Next one is the selective focus angle. Basically, a selective focus angle is that to create a selectiveness, a particular thing. In this, we can click a picture when a bee can sit in a flower. We can also call in a macro angle. Chooses a point of focus and set your camera to a wide aperture. Create a shallow depth of field in your image by using a wide aperture. Many kit lenses have basically f point. F point is an aperture. We can measure it near about 3.5 or 4.0 as the widest aperture. Other specialty lenses may have the aperture as well f12. What is basically a selective focus? In the photography, the term selective focus refers to a technique. It is a one kind of technique that I am telling you firstly, that is the macro, where the photographer selectively focuses on the particular subject on an image, essentially ignoring all other aspects of the screen. The contrast of the sharp subject against the soft image, background creators, powerful and contemplative images. Next one is the soft focus. Soft focus basically when we reduce by the use of an optical device. This kind of soft focus lenses deliberately introduces the spherical abbreviation in order to give the appearance of blurring. This is a kind of blurring effect. The image while retaining sharp edges. It is not the same as out of focus image, but the effect can't be achieved simply by defocusing or defocusing a sharp lenses. Basically, soft focus photography is a technique used to capture the image in the reduce the contrast and details of the image. It is deliberated the spherical abbreviation for the blur image. It focuses on the blur image and achieved merely by defocusing your lens. In this, we can also adding a kind of the dreamy slope. This technique is used in the portrait photography to reduce the appearance of fine detail such as the skin spots, giving a smoother effect also. Next was is the wide angle shot. Wide angle shot basically a wider range of lenses and the frame, etc. In this, a cinematography, a wide-angle lenses refers to a lens whose focal length is substantially smaller than the focal length of a normal lens for given a firm plane. Basically, a shot with a great horizontal plane of action and greater depth of field is known as the wide angle shot. It tells the audience who is in the scene, where the scene is set, and when the scene takes place. Basically, wide shots allow actors to utilize their physically and give the director a lot of space in which you are doing a work. When we're shooting a wide angle landscape, you should zoom all the way out of capture as much the scene as possible. That approach captures the breadth while the details in the screen and where they are located at depth. Next one is the title shot. Title shot basically is that kind of shot that ordinary and frustrated. Such shots basically often to used in the mystery and suspense films to create the sense of the unease in the viewer. Next one is the some camera movements. Basically, camera movements has that refers to the way a camera shifts to usually narrate and shape a viewer perspective of a screen. In this, when you move a camera a certain way, it can also alter the narrative of the story you are trying to tell and what you are trying to say, the delivery of the content you are presenting here. Like that, first is pan left and pan right. First of all, we are doing the camera lifting from pan left, pan right. Then we are using the crab, that is crab left and right. Then track out and in, then zoom lenses, zoom in and out, pad up, pad down, tilt up, tilt down. First of all, that what is a zoom? Basically, zoom, when we are talking about the zoom in and out in the photography, so here is a focusing of the object. That is, in the photography term, to use zoom in means to make your subject larger in the frame without actually moving forward yourself. On the other hand, to zoom out means to go on the way other or to make your subject smaller in the frame. Its lens zooms using the dial on the top of the camera. In this, we can next was talking about the panning. If we are talking about the following pan, then when you use pan, you are moving your camera from left to right or vice versa. Pan left, pan right, all while keeping the camera's base fixed on a certain point. We have some tripods. Panning can help you establish the location of the screen or let you following a moving character. In this, the camera horizontally so that it sweeps around the screen. It can also be tilted up or down in a vertical panning shot or in a diagonal pan, as when it follows an actors up the stairway. Then next was is the tilt. Tilt is a basically a cinematographic technique in which the camera stays in a fixed position but rotates up down in a vertical plane. Tilting the camera results in a motion similar to someone raising or lowering their head to look up and down. Basically, vertical movement of the camera angle, that is pointing the camera up and down like panning to follow a subject or to show the top and the bottom of a subsidiary object. With the tilt, you can also show how tall something is. With the help of the tilting, we can too much small and too much tall of the subject. Next one is the crab. Crab is basically a camera movement, is the sideways movement of the camera. You can't crab forward or backward. You can't track left or right. If you use the wrong terminology, most camera crew will assume you are inexperienced. Basically crab just right to left. Next one is we have some editing techniques, that is cut, continuity error, cross cutting, cut away, establishing tool, and eyelining. Firstly, we have to talk about the cutting. Basically, when we are talk about the cutting technique, so in this we can use the cropping also, because cutting techniques are a part of the cooking basic, with basic techniques in handling knives being the key to not the sliding and fingers. In this, we can dising a missing, making a cut into a cube shape. First of all, we are going to discuss about the cut. Basically, cut tool refer to the method for cutting out subjects or objects from the image. The method you choose to accomplish that depends upon the complexity of the subject. We have to compress time, build up an image or idea. We have to remove the unwanted things of the camera or a picture also. Next one is the matched up cut. Basically, matched cut is this when we create a relationship with subject and the object. In this, we have to continuity, we have to completed action, we have to change of angle, and one start change of shot size. Next one is the jump cut. Jump cut basically is a cut in the film editing in which a single continuous sequential shot of a subject is broken into two parts, with a piece of footage being removed in order to render an effect of jumping forward in time. Because jump cuts tend to draw attention to the constructed nature of the film. Next was cutaway. Basically, cutaway is the interruption of the continuously filmed action by inserting a shot of something else. Usually, you can then cut back to the first shot, then can be done with the same screen, cuts to the another screen, or even as one continuous shot as the camera pans crossing to someone else. Next one is the reaction shot. Reaction shot in which a particular participant can react to action which has just occurred. That's the fade. Fade when we captured a picture and it dissolves in the another picture, then transitions between the shots, that is called the fade dissolve. Next, we have some editing ethics. Editing ethics, basically in this we can have some ethics that to be have to done by the photo editor, availabilities, and so on. Basically, in the editing ethics, we have a goal of the editing is to create a final product that not only maintains continuity but is the both effective and evocative. A good editor can seemingly manipulate time and space, transforming an audience experience. Because of this part, editors need to be clear about the purpose of the screen. First of all, we have some types that editing done during the production. Exactly, first we will have the pre-production when we manage the everything, second production when we are moving the subjects, and after the post-production when we finish the all things and just doing editing. Next one is the post-production editing. In this we have the gathering information onto the tape, then role of the editors. Basically, role of the editors is this, that every knows the responsibility and the making good things which we have to deliver with the audience. They also have the responsibility for checking the facts, grammar mistakes, spelling, and punctuations. They have also responsible for the ensuring that an article correspondent within a house style guided and the feel polished and refined with done. Technical editor, it's create the decision made by the creative editors. We have some establish and maintain a screen position. First of all is the establishing shot with the help of the medium or long shot. Cut in and out, we have to cut in with some details and cut out when we have to action in about to take place. Jump cut and matched cut. Basically, in the jump cut, we occurs that something is removed from the middle cut and matched We have the angle of the view and the camera position. Second one is the use short content in the motive cuts. In this, the two motivators, that's the dialogue and the action. When we are helping the cut on action, in this, editing without the duplication of the action. Thank you so much. I hope you all clear about the editing, its techniques and its types clearly.